What's up, everybody? Paul here from hashtag Sports. The craziest thing has just happened. Obviously, it's pretty late, so my apologies for the late notification. But um, not very often you're going to get a notification um, that the Bills are acquiring Antonio Brown. With that being said, what's up, everybody? Again, I know it's a little late, so very like practically no details are out on this one at all yet. So I just kind of want to go through and talk about what this really means and kind of where we sit from here. So when we take a look at what is happening right now with the Bills, um, first off, Antonio Brown has been very, very adamant that when he gets traded, he wants a new deal, right? And here's the reason for that. First off, the Bills are primed to give him a new contract or give him an extension or whatever really he's looking for. And that's primarily because why? Well, it's because um, the Bills have lots of money to spend here, right? They've got lots of money, but the problem that you run into is that um, unfortunately the Bills lose all sorts of leverage with Antonio Brown because when you renegotiate his deal, what's going to end up happening is you are effectively uh, he's free to cut, right? So one of the reasons that you acquire a player like Antonio Brown, even if you're having a little concerns about, even if you're having concerns, oh, sorry, the volume a little low. Oh, sorry about that. Hold on one sec. Um, Even if for some reason, Antonio Brown runs into some sort of behavioral issue, right? If you trade for him, he's effectively free, which is awesome, right? Because you can cut him for nothing. Um, Downside there is that he wants a restructured deal, which means he's going to need more guaranteed money. So again, um, from a dollar standpoint, this is what happens, right? The Steelers been asking for a first round pick for Antonio Brown, which I mean, come on, guys, let's just be realistic about that. We never going to happen. But it is, um, if they give up a third, I mean that's fine. Could they be giving up 2 seconds? I mean, Bill's second round pick is pretty beefy right now, right? I I know that AB has tweeted out. Thank you for joining in. Whoa, sorry, I'm shaking stuff up. I know it's been tweeted out that it is quote unquote fake news. Of course, a lot of this stuff is going to happen, but it really looks like this is. I mean, it's from Ian Rappaport, and he's normally pretty dependable. Uh, so let's see. He tweeted fake news, and we gave a second round pick, said Evan Richter. Um, you know, Here's the deal. The Bills are trying to get better, right? Do they feel that Antonio Brown is going to be a linchpin to that? I mean, clearly, if they've made a phone call about him, they feel that way. A lot of people are going to have some pretty big problems with this because of the attitude that they feel Antonio Brown brings. But the Bills are pretty set in what they feel they've established in the culture. So um, it's one of those circumstances where I have to assume that they feel like they're going to get the best out of AB and that the best AB is going to show up. Now, if he thinks that he's going to be getting 15 targets a game, I don't think he understands our offense. But that's the one thing about being traded is he's got no leverage. He's got no yes or no. He's not picking his destination. But if he does want a restructured deal, the Bills are in a position to be able to give him that. But again, the Bills are going to be giving up some pretty substantial leverage with him because that puts his cap hit back on the Bills. Now, the Steelers are giving up a lot of money just to get rid of Antonio Brown, but they're getting a cap credit because Le'Veon Bell didn't show up last year. So, Evan Richter, yeah, he's about to pull Avante Davis. I don't think so. Run DMK13, keep him away from the Patriots. That's another big target, right? Was the Patriots because you always know that they're lurking somewhere. But this is what you have to do to get better inside the NFL is you have to be willing to take a chance to improve your team. And when you take a look at the free agent wide receivers that are out there, I'm not super in love with the free agent wide receivers that are available. I mean, you start looking at it and say, well, Golden Tate will be okay. He's a possession receiver, so that might open up the back end for somebody like Robert Foster. But when you talk about adding Antonio Brown, you talk about adding a different level of player. Jets Talk 24/7. Thanks for joining in, dude. I know AFC East love. Basically, just got sent to the wall. You know, that's one of those things. Is James Washington a fantasy gem now from SP30? He very well could be, right? Because you have to assume that that Pittsburgh offense is going to be changing their stripes. So they're going to be pretty pass heavy, and Juju Smith Schuster had taken over, had really been pulling a lot of attention away from AB. Um, I don't want to say, and Joey Doink Doink, which is an awesome handle, by the way. Don't say it's fake news. I get at this point, any tweet that's sent at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, you always have to question the validity of a little bit. But the wheels have been turning on this for quite some time, and pretty much everybody knew that something was going to be happening by Friday, right? And the Bills are sneaky stealth here. They've got lots of picks to give up, which I think is an advantage in the Antonio Brown sweepstakes. Is they have the ability to just kind of move and get rid of these picks. They've got 10 picks and they've already got 54 guys on the roster. Hey, Elliot, what's up? So it is something that was a need for them, and they're still going to go out and attack the wide receiver position in the draft. They are far from done here. This is not the one and done move. When you acquire a 31-year-old wide receiver, you still need to back that position up, because if AB comes up with a soft tissue injury in training camp, then you're back to square one again. So they're going to double down on the wide receiver position, but it might not be with a first round pick or a second round pick like a lot of us have kind of just been assuming was going to happen. Um, it's here's here's where things change for the Bills regarding Antonio Brown. For now, you're adding in somebody who is going to be in charge of the offense. And I think Antonio Brown has been digging for that in Pittsburgh for quite some time. He's wanted control of that room for so long, and it's been the Big Ben show and Le'Veon Bell with all the distractions that he had. I'm sure Antonio Brown is going to walk in and immediately be the alpha in that room. Not necessarily a bad thing, right? Um, I think he's been wanting an opportunity like that, and because he's been wanting that opportunity, maybe he shows up a different player than what he was in Pittsburgh. I'm willing to, I'm, I'm, I'm willing to see how this goes. Right? As a fan, I'm excited. I'm not outraged. A lot of people are going to be outraged. Um, you know, I don't. I haven't heard the most glowing reviews of Ben Roethlisberger. I'm not being an Antonio Brown apologist. I never will be. But I have a feeling like the Bills are going to see a different side of AB than what's been reported on Pittsburgh. We'll have to see, obviously. This does a lot of things. Joey Doink Doink brings up Zay Jones' name. Yeah, Zay is in big trouble now, right? Zay is now even leaking to roster bubble on, when you start taking a look at everything. The organization made an investment in Zay in a second round pick, but things haven't really gone the way that you'd expect them to. He really, really, really needs to focus this offseason because he's getting closer and closer to being a roster bubble if the Bills are going to start adding more depth inside of the draft at the wide receiver position. Uh, Crazy time, guys. Crazy time to be a Bills fan. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of details here, right? So as far as that goes, I don't have much more to report besides just kind of across the board. Here's what you should expect in the next 24 to 48 hours. The Bills are going to release, or it's going to release at some point, what the compensation is for an Antonio Brown trade. I would be shocked if it's a second round pick. The Bills have 10 picks. I have a feeling that the Pittsburgh Steelers are just going to be happy to get out of this and just kind of move on. With that being said, the Bills are still going to be looking at wide receiver talent, but probably not going to be a first or second round pick, especially if you're paying a third, fourth, or fifth in the investment for an Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown's going to want a rework deal, which means that when you acquire him, he's no longer free to cut. When you acquire a traded player, the team adapts all of or absorbs all their salary cap money or the dead money. So unfortunately, run into a situation here where the Bills are going to have to restructure his deal. As far as the salary goes, the salary might not go anywhere north or south, but they might just restructure a lot of the base salary into a signing bonus, which means that if the Bills do decide they want to cut bait after this year, that is going to be something that is going to cost them some money against the cap. But it's one of those situations, guys. There is plenty here as far as cap money goes. So this is a good investment for the Bills, and I think it's a chance that they're willing to take. Tom Hampton says it was a fourth round pick. Again, I'm hearing things all over the board, man. I know that they were looking for a first, then they were looking for 2 seconds in back to back years. Um, we'll see, man. I don't know what the compensation is. It's all speculation. I don't want to throw anything out there, but I would be surprised if it's a second round pick. I would even be surprised if it's a third round pick. I think you're probably looking at a fourth and a packaged fifth with like a conditional seventh next year. It's going to be. I don't see us giving up much more than that. The Bills just love that draft capital too much, and I think that would kind of remove some of their viability and moving up in draft boards. Um, Come draft day if they gave up too much more than that. But we'll see what happens. Again, it's 12:06 Eastern Standard Time. So, um, yeah, I believe brings up a great point. We talked about this on our Antonio Brown video where we absolutely said Antonio Brown was not coming to Buffalo. You can't win them all. Um, Jordan Poyer and Antonio Brown have some off the field issues. So there could be some trouble there. But I am pretty confident because Poyer is very respected in the Bills locker room that there was some level of conversation that was had prior to acquiring Antonio Brown with Jordan Poyer. I think it's just one of those deals where you have to protect your own locker room, and Poyer is very respected in that locker room. So I'd be shocked if something happened where they made this move and Poyer was opposed to it. Um, we'll see. We'll see what happens. JX, listen, it's pick 41 and a player. Again, details are going to be kind of stingy until tomorrow. I don't really know if we can believe too much that we see right now. Um, yeah, it's going to be nasty getting any details out right now. Um, Run DMK13. What if this trade involves McCoy? Well, then you could put the running back as a higher draft priority, right? If McCoy gets moved, then he immediately becomes, or the running back position immediately becomes a higher priority. I don't think the Bills would be comfortable entering the season with Ivory and Marcus Murphy and Ford as their starting trio of running backs. That immediately means that the Bills didn't give up a second or third round pick, and that's probably where they'd be going as far as that's concerned. But I'd say we'd find out Friday, Daniel Garis, but it is Friday officially. So I don't know. I don't know much more than that, guys. Other than that, I was just jumping on to say, man, I don't know what just happened. But if this is all true, Friday is going to be a very different kind of Friday in Buffalo, one that we haven't had around here in quite some time. All right, guys, have a good night. Talk to you. Yeah, it is weird. Daniel Garis brings that up. 10th anniversary of T.O. signing. Super weird, right? Anyway, we'll talk to you later, guys. Have a good night.